guys, Ethan here with Country Camper. Spring is here, so that means today we're going to be going over all the steps it takes to get your RV de-winterized and ready to hit the road. The reason why you want to try and do this before you get to a campsite for the first time is to get your hands on everything in the water system and make sure you have no leaks. So let's get started. Alright, one of the first things you can do is locate your water heater, find your drain plug. If you have a used one, make sure that the Teflon tape is new enough to where it's going to hold your water in. You can start getting it threaded in by hand. Take your ratchet and snug it up. Keep that open just so when it's pressurized you know you're not dripping. Alright, and then you gotta locate your fresh tank drain and get that capped off so when it comes time to fill in the tank you don't have it all draining out. Alright, you guys are gonna need to take your fresh hose. You're gonna need to locate your fresh tank fill port. You're gonna need to take the hose, stick it in there, and then go turn your water on. Alright, while you're filling your fresh tank, keep an eye on your monitor panel. You're going to want to see at least a third in the tank while you're filling, so that way when you turn your pump on, you know you're going to be grabbing some of that fresh water. Alright, you guys, another spot to check is going to be the location of your water pump. If you do have that antifreeze draw line on there, you're going to want to make sure that that valve is in fact off and that the water pump is in the mode for drawing from the fresh tank. But before you turn it on, just make sure that everything is snugged up and tight because you don't want to start spraying water everywhere once that pump turns on. So now our fresh tank is reading 2/3. So we're going to go ahead and flip that pump on. And it's going to start drawing. Make sure you guys get your toilet as well. And again, you're going to go until you see clear water and all the pink is gone. You're also going to want to make sure that you remember your shower. Drain all the antifreeze out of the hot and cold side, so that way when it comes time to use it for the first time, you're not working with antifreeze. Alright guys, at the kitchen sink, we're going to run the hot and the cold side until we see clear water, and then you know that that faucet's all set and ready to use. Alright, if you have an outside spray port or an outside shower, you're going to run hot and cold and get all that antifreeze out of there as well. Alright guys, some of you out there watching this have made that phone call in the past saying my water heater's not working, and that's the #1 phone call we get in the springtime. 98% of the time it's just going to be the bypass valves in the back of the water heater, and that's where we are right now in this video, flipping the bypass valves. And that's going to be one of the last things you do, so that way you're not filling that tank with that antifreeze. So let's go find them. Alright, so the first thing you guys got to do is find the back of the water heater, and if you don't know where the water heater is at this point, go outside, look for the black or white metal door that covers the face of the water heater. Go inside, find the general location of where that was. You're either going to find it inside of a cabinet like this one is under the sink, or you'll find a kick panel with 2 or 4 screws holding a panel in. You'll have to remove those screws, find the water heater, and you should have those valves sitting right there in front of your face. Alright, now that you found the back of the water heater, you're going to locate the top valve, the bottom valve, and for some of you, you'll have that middle valve. And you really want to make sure that middle valve gets turned because customers call us sometimes and say their water is only lukewarm for X amount of time and then it goes cold. And that's because they missed that middle valve when they were doing the de-winterize process. So go ahead and get those valves flipped. They'll only go a certain direction, and then you can button the back of the water heater up and move on to the next part of it. Alright, these are the valves on the back of this water heater. We're just going to take these two and turn them in. And now it's going to start filling that hot water tank. Alright guys, now that you finish your de-winterize, one of the last things that you should do is check your drains, your water lines, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure everything's tight. One of the last things that you should do is also go out there, fire off all your appliances, make sure your water heater still heats, make sure your fridge still cools, your AC still cools. You just want to make sure before you make that first trip that everything's squared away and working, because the last thing you want to do is get to the campsite and find out something's not working. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to call the New Hampshire location or the Vermont location. Someone's always going to be willing to pick that phone up and answer any questions you guys may have. Alright, thanks for watching.